this is this was uploaded, right? I only knew about this particular video 3 days ago. Karl Jobst, if you remember, if you're familiar with Karl Jobst, this is the guy who is known on his channel for exposing speedrunning cheaters, right? Well, maybe just cheaters in general. He had a very recent drama that happened to him over his Billy Mitchell lawsuit. He made some accusations that Billy Mitchell was somehow directly involved in the sewer slide of a certain individual, which, you know, he lost that case. And, you know, Billy Mitchell has been on an absolute roll, just roasting him on freaking Twitter and, you know, selling his hot sauce, I think it is. But yeah, we're not going to go into it. But this one is a confluence of different, you know, issues that happened over the past few days. Okay, now this story is about Riley CS. You might be familiar with the name, you might be familiar with the avatar. Point is, this catboy person here, okay, who is, you know, has a record of being banned from FPS shooters over cheating, has been on the, I think, front row of the very recent Twitter wars over people debating over their performance in the Battlefield 6 beta. They were trying to say that, oh, this guy was cheating, and another side was saying, oh no, he actually has good aim. But yeah, I've personally gone over a lot of the videos. I will show you a channel that I go to, right? I will recommend 10IQ Gaming. I think this is the guy. Made a few videos exposing this dude. Go over to him, check out his videos if you want, you know, very decent analysis of his cheating, you know, his Riley CS's cheating in general. Now, back to it. This is something I've been, you know, very very surprised about in terms of a complete 180 Karl Jobst did, right? So I haven't seen this entire video. I've seen only a few minutes of it, right? So I've been preparing for this video, but let's go ahead and react to it, shall we?
Legends. For the past week and a half, there has been an insane battle raging on Twitter. On the 9th of August, the gamer Riley CS
most knocked in cat girl you'll ever see in Battlefield.
It's crazy. The aim is unbelievable. She quickly snaps back and forth between targets with the kind of...
Okay, let's just go back there a little bit. Okay? If you don't know, you can do this with your YouTube videos on your keyboard controls, right? You know the less than and greater than keys on the keyboard. If you pause the video and press either of those buttons, you can go back frame by frame, okay? There's a lot of examples of this on the internet that you will notice, but apparently, right, you could argue that this, as you see right now, how smooth that aim tracking is. Look at that, frame by frame, boys, okay? Let's go over this, let's analyze this a little bit, right? If you go by this frame by frame, he goes aim down sights. And what seems to be weird about this is that look at how smooth the camera just transitions. He hasn't even like completed the aim down sight animation, right? He hasn't completed the aim down sight animation, but his camera is already centered on the driver's seat of this vehicle. And before the iron sights even line up to the center, he's already tracking it. Look at this, frame by frame. See? He's already tracking. Look at that shit. He's already tracking it. Yeah, there we go. Landed right on top of that guy. It's not, you know, pixel perfect, but I think a lot of people have already mentioned that certain cheats sort of account for a little bit of margin of error to make it less noticeable. But yeah, as you can see, the freaking tracking before the sights even line up is very, very extremely sus, right? This may or may not be an example of that, but I think we'll... Jesus Christ, just look at this. We'll get plenty of opportunities later on. Like, I don't know if any pros can replicate this level of let's go
between
back here
targets with
a
the
few
kind of
seconds.
ease and
I don't know if any pros can replicate this sort of level of aiming, right? But the way they just snap from target to target, like he's shooting a guy there, shooting a guy there. And then the way it just snaps. I don't know. I don't know.
Point, she even snaps to a target that
Look at that. That's the most obvious example. That is the most obvious example right there. Like, how would you know? Like, how would you know? How would you know? This one is the most blatant one that you will see in everyone's reaction to this video. It's the way this guy immediately snaps to another player behind cover, right? That guy goes down. Boom. Right. What's funny is that the audio on that particular clip, Riley CS goes like, "Oh, look at that! I flicked to a guy behind cover. Oh no! Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh silly me! Why would I do that?" He just tries to play it off like he wasn't just, you know, using cheats for that entire time, but whatever.
Human quickness when switching targets, snapping to enemies outside of her field of view, and even locking onto enemies behind objects.
Yeah, Karl Jobst just mentioned it. That does happen quite a few things, and you'll see even clips of here of Riley sort of aiming and tracking people behind smoke.
For this to blow up, with hugely followed content creators retweeting Riley's post, calling out the fact that it's blatant cheating. And when I say this montage blew up, I really mean it. It has almost 100 million views.
Well, good for them.
A single cheating scandal that has had this much attention. Period. What's interesting is that in spite of this obviously fake montage, Riley has a ton of support. In one corner you have the large content creators proclaiming that this is the most obvious example of cheating ever, and in the other corner you have a ton of professional gamers and highly skilled aimers saying that it's legit, and both corners have massive amounts of proponents. So not only does it seem to have garnered the most amount of attention,
let's see if, you know, Karl Jobst is going to be very fair over the arguments here.
Any scandal I can recall, but it also appears to be the most divisive. And what's perplexing is that for all
I think we pretty much realized that the most divisive part about this is that most of the people defending Riley are from people who have some sort of stake in it or have some sort of ideological bias. Okay, the freaking transphobia defense is going to be mentioned quite a lot here for very obvious reasons, and they're going to say, "Oh, how dare you criticize this person? You're only doing it just because they're trans," or something along those lines.
For all intents and purposes, Riley CS is a relative nobody who appears to have just uploaded a montage of herself using an aimbot in unranked Battlefield 6 beta games, a game in which apparently over 300,000 other people have already been banned for cheating.
Okay, so where's Karl going with this? Okay, like I think this is pretty much acknowledgement that Battlefield's anti-cheat as you know, has detected a lot of people attempting, right? 300,000? You don't think a couple of thousand people are going to go through that? No, not suspicious.
So this really shouldn't even be a story. And
no, why the hell not? Why shouldn't it be a story? Okay, here's the thing: people care about, you know, especially with games like this that are somewhat competitive, right? People want authenticity from the people they follow. They want, you know, they don't want to follow someone and, you know, be admiring for them for how good they are, be donating money from them just to find out they were cheating all along. Karl Jobst of all people should know this should know this perfectly. He spent almost his entire freaking YouTube career trying to debunk cheaters.
Yet here we are. Unfortunately, regardless of whether or not Riley CS is actually cheating, I immediately realized there is a lot of misinformation being spread. So I figured that if you're going to have a strong opinion either way, it should be based on correct information.
Oh yeah, just okay. Maybe they're just good. I don't know. Maybe they're just really good.
some correct information. So today, we are going to debunk the biggest myths and misconceptions around this quote-unquote cheating scandal. I really hope
That's just...
biggest myths and misconceptions.
It just seems really sus to me, right? Oh, okay. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just some sort of visual delay, right? Notice the movement here of the camera with the wrist. I don't know if that's a delay of the camera or a delay of Riley's own reflexes to his own. I don't know.
Scandal. I really hope you enjoy.
Maybe.
Now, legends, you could win this incredible
But yeah, this guy is already really suspect. Okay. We're not going to go through the freaking sponsorship here. The reason some people, might go through this and play the whole sponsor. The reason I don't is because I don't know who's being sponsored right now or who's sponsoring them right now, and I don't know that I support that company, so I don't want to be playing that on my video, so let's skip ahead a little bit.
Before going into the details, we have to be honest. These clips don't pass the smell test to any reasonable.
Oh well, I'll give it that to Karl Jobst though. Okay, he at least he acknowledges that they don't pass the smell test, but let's see how he argues for it.
To be fake. So I would not fault anyone for thinking that Riley is cheating. However, just because something appears to be fake to a reasonable observer, that
what? Okay, there we go.
Mean it is.
He went completely 180 right back into defending it. Okay.
This isn't proof. As someone who has been in the speedrunning community for over 25 years, I can tell you from experience, there was a time that whenever a casual viewer watched a speedrun, they would say it's fake. The most famous example being Super Mario Brothers, where the world record runs would get flooded with comments from people saying Mario should have been killed by a piranha plant. Nowadays, people are a lot more knowledgeable about speedruns, so this comes up a lot less often. But let me give you one more speedrunning example that might relate to this Riley CS situation. This is Suigi, playing Super Mario 64. He is the greatest SM64 speedrunner of all.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's already a given. Like anytime, people are doing something seemingly exceptional, you kind of just have to account for that. Some people might not even be serious in making that accusation. They might just, doing it in jest. Oh, this guy is totally cheating, instead of, he might just be really good. Some people will just have a sense of humor like that doesn't necessarily translate well over chats.
And this is the world
so I'll grant them that.
20-star category. So we have the greatest player playing the greatest.
But again, I'll refer again to the work that 10IQ Gaming has done analyzing all of the footage of Riley, all of their account activities, their streams. He does very well. He did like a freaking 8-hour stream of this. But yeah, go check him out.
The speedrun, and it takes him around 38 seconds to collect this star. Now watch this clip of a different person getting that same star.
Okay. What the hell is it? What the hell is this?
Not only does this look stupid and fake, but it's 17 seconds quicker. So the obvious question should be, if this is real, why doesn't this person have the world record? They are clearly a better player just based on this comparison. You can see how this thought process might seem a bit silly in this context. Obviously, the player who did this insane strategy, known as Gib, just grinded this star for a long time to get that one clip. And while they obviously have an incredible amount of skill, this one clip isn't indicative of how they would perform in a full game run, where you need to be consistent. And what's funny is that Gib doesn't even have a full game speedrun submitted. He specializes entirely on single star speedruns.
Okay.
If I see somebody that's that good.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything? What, Karl, what you're showcasing here is a classic sort of thing when it comes to speedrunning, right? When you do a very, very specific glitch, right? That takes quite a, let's just say, varying amount of execution, depending on the kind of game. Right? If let's analyze this a little bit. Speedrunners will, do this a lot. They know like a particular thing, like some sort of collision conflict thing that they will freaking
amount of skill.
take advantage of. Like from here, I think they found like some sort of weird collision area here that they sort of take advantage of to glitch a game and just no-clip themselves and launch themselves.
Isn't indicative of how they
Like,
would perform
yeah.
in a full game run.
You would see something like that happen a lot. You'd see that in Doom, you'd see that in Half-Life, right? But it's quite a different story when you're trying to do something like that in a competitive game, or let's just say trying to use a cheat engine in a, you know, in an FPS and multiplayer game.
Where you need to be consistent. And what's
Like, I feel like a glitch like this, even if it was, you know, it was present in like something like Marvel Rivals, that wouldn't last. The devs will immediately patch that out because, you know, obviously you can't have people glitching the game, not playing by the rules in a multiplayer setting.
funny is that Gib doesn't even have a full game speedrun submitted.
But okay,
He specializes entirely on single
Let's see where Karl goes with
If
this.
I see somebody that's that good at FPS, why aren't you playing that? Why have you never played on any team? Why aren't you on like?
That's a weak argument by Asmongold, by the way. That's so, you know, I get that Karl puts this clip there, right, to criticize against that argument. That's a weak argument by Asmongold. I will give him that. I'll give Karl that.
Playing professionally,
Right? Just because you're very good doesn't necessarily mean you want to be part of any professional team. Just because you're, you know, let's say you're very good at League of Legends. Not everyone who is at the freaking top 500 of Challenger in League of Legends has their own stream running. They just like to be good at the game.
Why isn't that happening?
If you think Riley's clips indicate that she is good at FPS, so good that she should be a professional player, then you don't understand what makes someone good at FPS. If these clips are legitimate, the only thing they demonstrate is that she has good aim. But how reliable is aim as a predictor of a person's overall skill in FPS? Well, luckily, we have a real-world experiment that tells us. In 2023...
Okay, that's crazy. Okay.
Well, luckily, we have a real-world experiment that tells us. In 2023,
Okay. I don't think I can, you know, I can knock that one off.
hosted an event called Ready Check, which was a competition based solely around aim. Competitors played various scenarios which only measured their ability to aim with a mouse. They had 8 people who qualified, and they put them against 8 esports professionals, which were invited by Red Bull. You would think the esports pros would win easily. I mean, it's their profession.
No, obviously there's a little bit more to that, right? Movement is involved, strategy is involved, aiming is only one facet of it when it comes to being good. Like for example, again, I'll put League of Legends as an example there. League of Legends has skill shots as a form of skill expression, okay? But that doesn't mean just because you hit your skill shots 100% of the time doesn't mean you'll win every game. If you're bad at macro, you're bad at strategy, you're bad at CSing, you're freaking just bad at setting up your team to win, okay? Doesn't mean just because you're good at skill shots doesn't mean you'll be in top challenger.
But the results might shock you. In every single round, the lowest scoring non-professional scored higher than the highest.
But okay, how does this counter the accusation that Riley is cheating? Like, what are you trying to set up here? Of course, we know that if Riley was a bad player who uses cheats to improve their aim, right, using a bot, like, he's trying to sort of put this narrative up that Riley is just really, really good at aiming and bad at everything else. I think that's what Karl is trying to set up here. He's trying to set up that angle to defend Riley.
The worst aimer out of the amateurs. This was an in-person LAN event, so there was no chance for aimbots or hacks. The pros got stomped. So do pros just suck at aiming? If these other players are so good at aiming, why aren't they pro? Well, it's because there is a lot more to being a pro than just having good aim. You need to have excellent game awareness, problem-solving ability, communication,
I meant this. This is what I was saying. I was just saying this.
The ability to predict enemy behavior, the ability to handle pressure, being a likable person that people want to be on a team with, and many more skills that have nothing to do with aiming. And all of these skills take time to practice and develop. So while the pros might have...
Okay. You would argue that, but wouldn't that also apply to aiming that takes time to develop? Because I remember in one of the things that 10IQ Gaming, was going over is that seemingly Riley had a pretty mediocre level of skill when it comes to aiming, and then literally a day later, they had that montage. They were doing that montage thing, right? So I would argue that getting good at aiming takes quite a bit of practice as well.
Have a laundry list of around 10 things they need to.
Yeah, that's a mark against Karl here, right? If strategy and decision making takes time and effort to develop as a skill, then so the same thing should apply to aiming, right?
Excel at, an amateur who solely practices aim is going to be a better aimer, but this simply does not translate to overall gaming ability. The winner of Ready Check, Maddie, who is basically the undisputed GOAT of aiming, even admitted he just doesn't care about the other aspects of gameplay.
Before we get into this specific
What's missing here? I feel like there's something missing here.
Even a coach at that.
I originally got into aim training to get good at Overwatch. I'm not gonna lie, I was hard stuck like Diamond Masters before I got an aim training.
Diamond Masters isn't bad, okay? Diamond Masters isn't bad, but this guy he isn't like a freaking non-gamer. I think he's been playing, Valorant and such for quite a while, like he said. Getting to Diamond or Master level. That takes quite a bit of training and practice and effort. You don't get that in a day.
And I was like, I want to get better aim, and I want to get better at Overwatch, but the more I played aim training, the more I realized, like, I'm really good at this, and I don't want to really focus that much on...
But did you get good at it? But did you get good at it in a day, though?
Getting better at Overwatch and other aspects of the game, I want to aim train.
Riley is someone who specializes in aiming. She has over 1,500 hours in the Kovacs Aim Trainer alone. She is on a team that specializes in aiming. If her aim is better than esports pros...
Again, we've actually we probably should. Here we go. Let's go into here.
Okay.
Right?
In this video,
Riley,
what
or rather,
show you?
10IQ Gaming goes over this, right? And the timeline here, he explains this quite well. The comparison of Riley's skills without an aimbot and with an aimbot. Let's go for a clip here.
Way off to the left. My God. Little correct. Oh, got some shots there. Landed one. No, nothing. Oh, here we go. Pay attention to this aim right here. This is day one aim.
Just to summarize this, okay? What we've concluded here, right, of Riley's aim without an aimbot is that
see the recoil jumps there
in a full magazine,
missing,
right?
Missing.
Of like this LMG.
A shot yet. Below.
They land very few shots.
Oh, there we go. One shot.
They will land very few shots. Let's say, 1 or 2 shots per magazine, right?
Off to the left. Wow, it's all over the place.
Yeah, there we go. This is their aim.
Wow.
You're not hitting anyone.
Shot of an entire drum mag. Landed one shot. Wow.
Yeah. You landed 2 shots, right?
Riley.
Of like an entire magazine
That's
there.
not like Riley at all.
That's Riley without aimbot.
Wow.
I don't get aim.
And ran straight back into a guy too.
I'm killing the snipers on the hill, and you are talking shit right now.
Wow.
How's that? You are.
Didn't even get a kill. Didn't even get a kill.
With the iron
dumpstered.
Okay, never mind. This gun's
Damn. Remember, excuse for the gameplay was
this is
I'm just an
this is Riley's skill level.
Player.
This is Riley's skill
This
level.
is not
Allegedly
gameplay
without the
that
aimbot.
everyone's upset about. This is just a bot running around the map, getting gunned down, lucky to get a kill. Shots are all over the place.
The Creed.
Now, pay
See
attention
here,
to this.
right? Look at this. Look at this. Another example here. Oh my god, let's see how he goes through the whole magazine. Let's see. Okay, so this gun, right? I think this is a Scarlight.
Here we go.
Yeah, Scarlight. 31 mags. Okay, 31 rounds in a whole mag. Let's see how many she hits. Okay, let's see how many he hits. Sorry, I misgendered this, freaking creature. Let's see how many he hits in a full mag.
This is it. This is it. This is it. Oh, maybe he'll get a kill. Maybe he'll get a kill.
Let's see. 31 rounds. Let's count it.
Oh, landed
That's
one
one?
shot. Damn. Well, I mean, That's pretty good for him. I mean, we are at nearly about half our mag now. I mean,
Let's see.
pretty
Oh
normal
shit.
This guy only lands 1 bullet per half mag and just missing every single shot. Just, oh.
Notice this tracking though. Notice the difference in this tracking, by the way. Right? There's something, you know, people will tell you how to track. This a lot noobs will. Okay, I'm a noob myself. I do this myself when it comes to aim tracking. Right? Watch this. Watch this.
Does this dude make a play?
Let's just
Here we
play
go.
this out. Let's
This
just
is
play
it.
this play out the
This is
script.
it. This is it. Oh, maybe he'll get a kill. Maybe he'll get a kill.
They don't sort of track like a smooth motion horizontally.
That's pretty good for him. I mean, we are at nearly about half our mag now.
Like-
I mean,
Like he's just staying there, right? And then he sees that, you know, the target is moving there. Then he'll sort of move the camera there slightly and then shoot there.
pretty normal. This guy only lands 1 bullet per half mag and just missing every single shot. Just, oh,
Yeah, so it's not like
terrible.
you see that, you see that compared to, you know, other footages that we've seen of him earlier, where they sort of track a smooth motion while shooting. Like I can't even do that with my mouse. Like I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor over the OBS, right? But yeah, I sort of I can't even make it that smooth of a horizontal line with my mouse.
What a bot.
But yeah, you see, you know, they make that noob aiming mistake of shooting here and then target moves, then you follow, and then target moves, then you follow, and the target moves, then you follow. You sort of you're sort of staggering that line instead of following them in a smooth motion while they move, right? That's how a noob shoots without aimbot.
Wait, remember when Riley was calling me ass?
Okay, so notice that, right? You'd see the clips that we've seen from Karl Jobst here. You would see freaking Riley downing like 2 or 3 people in a single mag. This one dubs the whole mag,
This is it. Oh,
dubs the whole mag,
Maybe he'll get a kill.
doesn't kill a
Maybe
single
he'll get a
guy.
kill. Oh, landed 1 shot. Damn.
Doesn't kill
I
a
mean,
single guy.
That's pretty good for him. I mean, we are.
Right?
Really
I think he
about
landed
half
like
our mag
2
now.
shots
I mean,
out of
pretty
10,
normal. This guy only
out of 10
landed 1
rounds.
bullet per half mag and just missing every single shot. Just,
Okay,
oh,
going. Hasn't half the mag. We've hit 2 shots out of 16 rounds.
what a bot.
Okay, I would have think that he would have hit that one. And I think, okay, there we go. So 3 out of 31. They're skilled, by the way. They're skilled. What did Karl Jobst say? They were a member. 1,500 hours of a freaking aim training community.
Wait,
Yep.
remember when Riley was calling me?
Yeah. So
game?
okay.
Oh, 2 shots in between the legs there.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. ADS, okay, a little bit off to the left.
Oh,
There we go. Oh no, didn't really
wow.
finish that clip, but yeah, you can see here. You will think with how good this guy is with aiming and being able to kill multiple people in a single magazine, they'd score a lot higher, but no.
You might be right.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's the game. It's just a bad game.
Okay, let's see here.
Hell yeah.
Scarlight again.
Get me in the squad in
Oh.
our thoughts. Yeah, if you want
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
No confidence. No confidence. Like, you
to.
notice.
For thoughts. Yeah, if you want to.
No confidence here in his aim,
Get me in
right? The ADS then completely
the
gave that
squad
up.
in our thoughts. Yeah, if you want
Wow.
You might say, you know, because the clips that we're seeing from this part, this video, those are like highlights and whatever. They're not including the fumbles. But I feel like this is some more, there is some more realistic sort of analysis, a more realistic picture of, oh, shut up.
Something I noticed is they all have a different excuse.
There's a more realistic sort of picture of Riley's skill level, okay? Now let's see the comparison. Let's find here the clip of them. Let's find a good clip here. With the aimbot.
Here we go.
And make this comparison.
Oh wow, the reaction time. Did you see that? Oh.
Let's see here. Where does that ADS land?
We've already shot a bullet. We've already shot a bullet.
Oh, dead center. Dead center, by the way. Like,
Headshot too.
what's interesting though is that,
See that?
yeah, he comments here is that he hasn't even completed the ADS animation yet, but he's already fired off a shot.
Oh.
There we go. The ADS animation hasn't completed. He's already fired a shot. And you would think that because of, you know, hipfire, insigny, and ADS you'd have to adjust, that first shot might have landed literally anywhere here. But no, that first shot lands directly on the target.
We've already shot a bullet. We've already shot a bullet.
Right?
Oh. Headshot too. Oh, good correction there. And now we'll just laser this guy and not miss a bullet. Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
At least here the target isn't moving that much, I think. I think we need to find another example of the target moving. Right? And make that comparison. Make that comparison to how they were aiming with the Scarlet earlier, where, like, again, they would sort of stagger the tracking, right? They will fire at where the target is, see the target move, and then fire, sort of move their mouse to the target, and then fire there, and then stay there for a little bit, and see it move and stay there, right? Instead of a smooth horizontal motion just following, tracking the target. That's how they were aiming with the Scarlet earlier.
This guy, I remember this. Oh, we're already hard locked on this guy. Look at this. Oh, there's a bullet already heading
shit.
towards that guy. Look at this.
Notice that?
It's insane. Can
Notice
you
that the
physically
bullet.
shoot your gun when you're not even ADS like this? Can
He
you
isn't even
physically
ADS yet.
do it? Look at that.
And it lands. Oh, it got obstructed. I think it got obstructed by the sandbag there, but that was going straight for that guy's balls.
2 shots on that guy. Is that hitting him? Yeah, the server's slow. That guy's already got like 2 or 3 hits in him, and the server hasn't even registered it yet. Yeah.
But yeah, dead center mass
Look at that.
immediately.
Look at the aim moving with the body. It's moving with the body. Look.
Oh shit, you're right. Like again, why would the camera? Why would you move with the body there? Like they're already, you know, dead center, and we've seen how this guy tracks with his, you know, freaking mouse, right? But yeah, there it is.
Right, it is moving with the body.
There it is.
Look,
The aim is making what? Okay, I don't think even a pro will notice that micro adjustment you need to make, right? Here, the only possible explanation is that an aimbot is programmed to aim at the direct center body mass of a target, and then just track it, follow it.
The body like pops up in the air, and
I don't think
follows it.
a pro would even need to make that micro adjustment either.
Look at the aim following it,
Yeah.
and then just flies off some to Nani.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, and it just snaps. Why? Is there like a person behind that cover? Why would it do that? Why would it do that?
It's not gonna move off this guy now, and it is just gonna laser this guy into the ground. Look at it. It has not budged. Wow.
Okay, let's see this.
Wow. Across the map. Across the map.
Like you can barely even see like the silhouette of the target here. Maybe that's YouTube compression.
Now remember, at range, on day 1,
You can barely see the silhouette of the target, but I think every single round there landed. No? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, not necessarily, but
Across the map. Across the map.
they're aiming dead center. But yeah, if we take a reference, back
Now
to
remember,
this guy's
that
aim
range
with the
on
scar.
day one,
This doesn't seem
within
consistent
half this
at all.
distance on day one with an M4, he would hit on average about 1 to 2 shots of an entire 30-round mag. When there, it's on him.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go. Let's get one more. Let's get one more
Wow.
clip in here.
Look at that, pixel perfect. Oh, it's moving with the guy. Look at it.
Like, look at the way.
Oh, wow. Oh.
What?
It's literally like micro pixel perfect. See if we can see the lock off.
Far distance.
He's only staring at the guy
Can I
through the
gamble in
wall.
here? Yup. Exclamation mark gamble.
That's
all.
crazy.
There we go.
Like again, what's suspicious here is how smooth the camera is while they're aiming compared to when they were using the Scarlight earlier.
Oh no. Whoa!
Whoa, what is he snapping to?
Oh no, it's gone the other way.
What did he snap to?
There, back to that guy.
That was weird.
What the fuck? Is
That
it
was-
on bodies
that
or
was
something?
weird.
Is that a guy laying down?
It's very weird camera movement.
Yep, now it's on that guy. And
Okay, there you go.
shooting already?
Before-
Firing already?
Before the AFDS even gets down.
I mean, putting a shot on that guy before his gun is even... his barrel has not even aimed at the guy.
That's so weird. Yeah.
And he's putting shots on this guy already. Oh, is he going to snap to the guy above him after? Please tell me he does. There's 2 shooting. Oh, wow, he's locked on this guy. Oh, look at the tracking. Oh, we got tracking. It's letting me rewind. Look at the followage. Look at the followage. Following him.
Like
And then
again,
go straight to the next guy.
it's the difference in the tracking.
Whoa, what the...
It's the difference in the
Oh, we
mouse
got it.
tracking. That's
Right,
very,
fair
very noticeable.
Like, we are hauling ass straight to players. Oh, there we go. Player right there. We're gonna laser that guy from across the
6
map.
heavy
Oh,
gambling. I wish. Would you mind if I redeem hydrate one?
Okay. Okay,
Here we
let's
go.
see this. Let's see this.
oh, that guy just die. No, he's alive.
Yeah, okay, that's
There we go. That was a lock.
very nice. I wish you just, play these clips. Like
Oh, that was a
again,
lock.
the tracking here. It's
It
the
is.
it's the mouse tracking that's really, really sus. Compared to the footage he
Wow.
showed of us before, alleged aimbot was in effect. Like, look at how smooth that. Look at how level that is. Like again, I dare you, ladies and gentlemen, take your mouse, okay? If you're watching this on PC, take your mouse and try to sort of make an imaginary line from left to right and see how smooth you can make it. Not just that you can make a straight line, but how consistently you can keep that speed up. It's very difficult to keep a consistent speed moving your mouse. Like, it's very difficult to even keep it level. But the way this guy's camera moves, it's very, very
No, of
sus.
course not.
What's also weird is that why does he snap there? To seemingly nowhere. Why does he snap? Like, you would think that once the target is dead, okay, he wouldn't just snap to the freaking cliffside there and just keep his aim sort of in the general direction of the last thing that he was shooting at, right? Even lower his ADS, but that's really weird. Notice that?
Times? No, of course not.
Okay, let's go back.
Times? No.
Yeah, that's so weird. He just snaps to it. Snaps to nowhere. That's very, very sus. Okay, let's go back to Karl Jobst now.
She is on a team that specializes in aiming. If her aim is better than esports pros, that doesn't mean she could be a pro herself. There are no delusions of grandeur here. These clips are not supposed to show that Riley is amazing at FPS. In fact,
No, I think that's exactly what the clips are. I mean, that's exactly what the montage was supposed to be, wasn't it?
just based on the gameplay itself, it's terrible. If you tried to play like this on a pro team, not only would you get
Oh my god, there's no freaking way. There's no freaking way you just Bruh, look at that! What? Okay. Wait a minute. What the hell? Whoa. Carl, there's no way you put this in the video that you are defending this guy, okay? Watch this bullshit. Okay, goes for that guy. Right. Fires. As soon as that guy is dead, milliseconds, split seconds, immediately snaps to another guy that's already going down. Hello? As soon as that guy drops, immediately snap to a guy that's already in the middle of falling. And once, I guess, the aimbot realizes, Jesus Christ, look at that. It even sort of... I think there's no way. There's no way, right? You will think, oh, he sort of overshoots it a little bit, right? But the fact that his reticle just readjusts to the center body mass of the corpses flying down behind the freaking wall. Karl, no, did you even look? Did you even? What? What the hell?
Would you get kicked immediately, but the other team members should be.
Who the hell snaps like that? That's crazy. Whoa, hold on. Back up. Maybe I'm just bad. But look at the way they snap between targets, right? What? What the fuck? Oh, we can be here all day, folks. We can be here all day. What the hell is this bullshit? Oh my god. Hold up. What the hell was that? I think I noticed something again. Look at the placement of that, where that enemy is right now, right? I'm going back here frame by frame. Okay, let's just go back a full 5 seconds. Let's see the second part of that, okay? See there? Snaps to the next guy. Okay. Snaps to the next guy. Snaps to the next guy. Yeah. Directly on the head, by the way. Direct headshot. There. How? Look at that shit. Is it me? Or is his mouse, or rather is his aim, just following the head, pixel perfect, frame by frame? Like each frame that's directly on the head. And what does he snap to? He snaps to a wall. Guess what? What is behind that wall? Oh, how convenient, there's a dude there. Stop it, Karl. Stop it, what are we doing? What?
But the other team members should.
And oh, that too. Let's go back. Shit, bruh, this it's definitely sus, right? It's definitely sus. As soon as that guy goes down, doesn't waste a second. What? Who? What? Does he just know how many? What? Doesn't waste. Okay, that's the part that seems inhuman to me. Literally one frame. See that red dot? See that red sort of diamond there? As soon as that goes away, one frame. Next frame, he's already moving. What? No, 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 no. No, you are gaslighting us, Carl. No, you fell off.
And this should be insulted. In this clip, Riley clearly
Oh.
sees several opponents, and yet doesn't engage or take cover. She completely ignores them and runs right out into the open. This is because she doesn't care about playing well or playing effectively.
What does that have to do with using an aimbot? What is this argument, Carl? What does that have to do with using an aimbot? No, 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 no. What the hell does that have to do with using an aimbot?
Playing effectively, or even winning. She just wants to get a good clip, and it would look really cool if she ran out into the middle of these.
No, 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 that doesn't have anything to do with an aimbot. This is a non-argument.
Them all out,
I'm
like
sorry.
some kind of action hero.
That has nothing to do with an
Which she
aimbot.
does. This is an entirely different style of play. Once inside the group of enemies, it basically just becomes a
Okay, just... Okay, maybe they're just good, but behind all of that smoke... I don't know.
target switch scenario in an aim trainer, which aimers are experts at. But the only reason this would ever work is if the other players were complete scrubs and you got incredibly lucky. Obviously in this case, the enemy wasn't paying attention, or they just sucked. If you tried to do this against good players,
Yeah, I
you
don't
would
know.
get destroyed
It's still
every time.
sus.
In order to farm
I feel like some of these are interspliced with clips of Riley not having the aimbot
these
on.
clips, Riley has to intentionally ignore enemies, run out into
Yeah, just because, you know, it's because they're just generally bad. And an aimbot doesn't really cover for those type of skills. Like, again, I think Carl doesn't realize he's making a stronger argument for a mediocre player using an aimbot to get good at aiming instead of having any other, you know, instead of any other of the skills that you will develop being good at the game.
to the open and pray she doesn't get spotted and killed while she attempts to chain a bunch of kills together by target switching. And indeed, even against scrubs, Riley gets killed way more often than not trying to get into these positions. These clips aren't
Like, again, we've established this. This is a non-argument. Someone with just an aimbot wouldn't have developed those awareness skills, right? Positioning strategy.
indicative of what happens at the vast majority of the time. These are highlights from hours of play. It's a selfish way of playing, and the only point is to grind for
Like, okay,
hours and
okay. There's no way. There's no way you could snap to something off screen like that. They even know that that person was there. Was there already? Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit here. At the
These
start
are
of that
highlights
clip.
from hours of play.
At
It's
the
a
start of that
selfish
clip.
way
I mean, you'd have to have really good peripheral vision. Wait a minute. You'd have to have really good peripheral vision to notice that there was a guy there. If you're already focusing on the guy in the middle and the guy to the left slightly. Okay? There's no way. Let's go back to the start of this clip. Because if you're going in here, right? Why wouldn't you start shooting here then? Okay. I'm overanalyzing a little bit. I might be. But again, I think you'd have to have really insane superhuman awareness and peripheral vision to notice that there was a guy there crouching, right? So that you can focus on these two. Bam. Down that guy. Down the other guy who's already on the ground. And then snap. Again. Complete. Just a frame, literally a frame. One frame. As soon as that diamond and that health bar disappears from screen. Not one frame, and they're already snapping to a guy that they probably didn't know. Wait, did he hit something here? Was there? Oh, I think there was another guy behind that rail. What? Oh, no, come on, Carl. The B footage I don't think Karl reviewed this B footage in any good faith whatsoever. There was a guy behind that railing, right? Because he got a hit marker. He got that hit marker. Maybe that was from the previous guy, still lingering, but I don't know. Okay. But still, again, I don't know if there was a guy behind there. But the fact that you snapped all the way to a target off screen indicates that you would have to know that guy was there prior. And I think that first shot hit actually. The health bar showed up. Was that a hit? Maybe it's because, you know, the servers and stuff. I don't know.
For hours and hours
Weird.
to get a few good clips that would look cool in a montage. This is why the
Whoa, let's go back there. Let's go back there. That was weird. That was weird. Notice when there's no targets on the screen, right? As soon as targets on the screen die, like, why? As soon as this guy, Jesus Christ, he's already shooting at this guy. That the guy on the right here hasn't even gone down, hasn't even hit the floor. He's already shooting at this guy. What? Pixel perfect. Pixel perfect. Pixel perfect. One frame. Not more than one frame. As soon as that guy dies. He snaps to... He snaps his mouse to move. To look at nowhere. Why? That's my question. Why?
montage. This is why the only thing these clips demonstrate is...
Okay, back. I'm trying to freaking do my own analysis. This is so interesting to actually look at, right? I haven't looked in detail at these clips before. Only the one there where he snapped to a guy inside a freaking rock. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of sussy stuff going on here. A lot of sussy stuff going on.
Clips demonstrate is good aim. And Riley would fail at every other metric that makes a pro, at least based on these clips. When you watch a professional who is trying to play effectively and efficiently, it's completely different. They take cover. They don't just run out into the middle of a group of enemies. It's a lot more strategic.
Yeah, again, like, the argument Karl is making here has nothing to do with using an aimbot. They're just completely deflecting. Like, we know. Like, he's focusing on that one clip of Asking Gold saying, oh, why aren't you an esports player? Okay, we've established that as a bad argument. But why does Karl keep going on about, oh, they aren't actually good at position? That's not the argument.
And most importantly,
I think that's much more in favor of Riley actually use. That's an argument much more in favor of Riley using an aimbot than not.
And to be fair, I understand where a lot of people are coming from. And I understand the disdain for this kind of montage. If you believe that Riley is trying to prove that she is some kind of battlefield savant, that would be really pathetic and cringe. If you are under the impression that these clip montages are supposed to suggest that Riley is better than professionals, that would also be pathetic. But it's not the case. These montages are purely a form of artistic expression, and nothing more. They aren't supposed to suggest anything.
But
okay, that was just a complete non-argument. He tried to sort of focus on this one bad argument that Asking Gold made. That's nothing. That's a non-argument. That doesn't. I actually think that helps against, or rather, that much more helps the argument that Riley is cheating than not.
They only demonstrate that she has good aim, and having really good aim is what happens when you specialize in having good aim. In fact, many people who are not professionals have far better aim than most pros. But at the end of the day, when it comes to competitive esports, that really doesn't mean much. It's the equivalent of a Type 1...
No. It's the cheating, okay? Like, the thing that people are accusing Riley of is using an aimbot. to assist their aiming, right? Not any other skills. So someone who is using an aimbot and hasn't developed any skills in playing an FPS game naturally would look like, well, would perform similarly to someone who's only trained at aiming and nothing else.
Exhibition. Sure, it looks cool and it takes a lot of skill, but
He spends way too much time on this. Karl spends way too much time on this long argument.
And if anything, they will just get
This is dumb.
a world of trouble.
This is dumb.
They snapped to a player through a wall and traced their movement through a wall. And the internet is coping so hard, they said, you know there's a mini...
Like, again, I have to agree with Tectone here.
Right? Yeah.
This is definitely the clip that has raised to the most eyebrows. Riley flicks 90 degrees to the left and shoots at a rock, and then when she strafes around, an enemy is there. Tectone is correct that the code for this is a minimap, and indeed, a player is visible on the minimap in that location. So based on the minimap, it would make sense
Wait a minute.
to snap to that direction.
They perfectly track their verticality, their horizontal degree, and trace them through a
Yeah, that's really hard to defend against. That rock clip is the most blatant.
Yeah, but like you've got to admit, I mean, we can clearly see what's sus about this, right? Is that he locks
Okay.
onto this player.
Let's see how Karl defends this now. Let's see how he defends this now.
It definitely appears sus. But what I don't understand is why people say that Riley locked onto an enemy she couldn't see through a wall and tracked them perfectly. This is an oxymoron. Not because it's impossible that Riley could be tracking someone through a wall, but because it's impossible to tell. If you can't see what is behind the rock, you cannot tell if anything is being locked onto, nor can you tell if anything is being tracked.
What doesn't make sense here is that when they snap, here, right? They're still shooting. Like, why? Why? You would think that once you were, done shooting that other guy, once you were done shooting this guy, right? Once he's down, you would stop shooting, aim, but as soon as this guy sort of snaps, he's firing.
You can't see what is behind the rock. You
What?
cannot tell if anything
I don't know.
is being
Maybe.
locked onto, nor can you tell if anything
Maybe it's
is
because
being
he's just
tracked. You
confident
cannot have
in
it
his
both
magazine
ways.
size
If
that
we
he'll
tried to
be able
do
to
a
kill someone
investigation into what
with
Riley
how
was
much bullet
possibly
left he
aiming at,
has.
We find there was no one there. This is where she snaps to, which is to the left of the C. And when she peeks to the corner, the enemies are all on the right. There is definitely a downed enemy in the direction Riley snapped to the left.
What the fuck, Karl? What? That completely kills your argument. That guy is a valid target, no?
The enemies are all on the right.
Like, you can just as easily just say that his aimbot snapped to a guy, right? Who went down just as they were going over the corner.
Enemies are all on the right. There is definitely a downed enemy in the direction Riley snapped to.
Like, again, who? Nah, Karl, come on.
But
You're
not only do we
gaslighting.
not determine if the player was downed at that moment, but the verticality appears to be way off.
I don't think so. If they were still standing before they went down, I don't think so.
Was aiming approximately around here, and if we go in that straight line, where do we end up? We end up right here. And if you look, this is around the area that enemy 4 died.
If Riley did snap to this downed enemy, she seems to be aiming way too high. Even when Riley peeks out from the rock, she isn't locked onto anybody. And the closest enemy to her
Wait, what? What? Hold up, Karl.
even when Riley peeks out from the rock, she isn't locked onto anybody.
The guy is right there. Wait a minute,
And
Karl.
the closest even when
You
Riley
gaslighting?
peeks out from the rock, she isn't locked.
The guy's right there. He's right there. Like naturally he'd be off if he was, strafing.
onto anybody. And the closest enemy to her crosshair Riley picks out from the rock. She isn't
Karl,
onto
no.
anybody. And the closest enemy
No, naturally he'd be off by a little bit, because he was strafing right and not adjusting his aim.
to her crosshair was moving. So we don't really
What
know
the fuck?
exactly where he was.
Karl.
The fact that an enemy was close to the crosshair
Are
when
you,
Riley peeked-
no. Someone has to point this out in the comments. There's no way. There is no way. No timestamps. Once the crosshair is finally on the enemy, it's obvious it's an aim up because it's on the... Okay, that's a different timestamp. I don't know. Nobody seems to point that out, right? Like, you see this one comment here? 300,000 cheaters in a brand new game is unreal. That entire player base is for most... That is an entire player base for most games these days. Yeah, but that is insane. Okay, we haven't found that particular timestamp. Hasn't been mentioned here. But yeah, the entire comment section is just, clowning on Karl Jobst at this point. But I think Karl is doing a terrible job here at arguing against this.
No way of knowing. At best, what we can say for certain is that she snapped to the direction of...
Wait a minute. Whoa. Let's see that again. Let's analyze this a little bit further, okay? Let's analyze this a little bit further. You notice that snap?
At best, what we
Right?
can say for
He snapped here. Is that she
snapped to the direction of a...
And then snapped to a second guy. Then snapped again. He snapped twice. My theory here is that the first snap, they did a snap. Right, come on now. Come on, son of a bitch.
We really have no way of knowing. At best, what
See
we
that
can say
again?
for
See? They snapped there. This is snapping to the guy that was the one that's getting downed, okay? They probably weren't down before they snapped here. And then they were down probably by another player that was, on the other side of the map there. That might explain why he had this sort of second micro snap over here. See this? Fires a few shots there. And then snaps. There. Snaps there. Who's behind there? He doesn't know. He doesn't see anyone. Who's behind there? Right? Who's behind there, Karl? Who's behind there? Who's behind that particular, part of rock? Okay, so Riley is going to strafe a little bit. Oh! There's a... No, come on, Karl! You dumb fuck! Are you... No, we're being gaslit, boys. We're being gaslit. He snapped to two different targets that was behind that rock. There is no freaking way. There's...
based on the enemy's location on the mini.
Dude, Karl is just... you silly son of a...
Personally, I don't find this to be that crazy.
No? You don't? You don't, really? I don't think you analyzed this quite as closely as it deserved to be. I don't think you analyzed this quite as closely as it deserved. Right? Let's go back here. Just one more time. See, the first snap he did, right? He snapped to that location. There's a guy behind here. That probably wasn't down before he sort of strafed over and peeked over the corner, right? But probably the reason why, after he fires a couple of shots there, he made another micro snap to another target. Which is the second guy that he finds once he strafes over. See there? Right? So that's the second guy he snapped to. The first guy he snapped to was probably... Oh, no. We missed it. There was probably either one of the two guys that was down over here slightly to the left.
Riley turned to
Come
the direction of
on,
someone on the
Jobs.
minimap, and there were a total of 4 enemies behind that rock.
Yeah, 4.
One here, one
He's
here, one here,
analyzing this
and
really,
four is the
really
downed
badly.
enemy on the left.
I don't know if he just missed it or he hasn't, you know, gone frame by frame, or he's just being bad faith right now.
4 enemies behind that rock, it isn't shocking that
Yeah, the first guy he snapped to was this guy, which was, you know, actually closer to him, which makes sense for a program to do that, to prioritize the guy closer, right? Oh, shit, okay, that makes a lot of sense. He snapped to this first guy. Once he got down by probably one of his teammates off screen, right? He snapped to this guy as well, who was, you know, approaching here as he was strafing around the corner.
her crosshair ended up in the general vicinity of one of them.
Snap to a rock, although I will say before, if you go back, I just want to break this down. They're on the radar right here at the bottom left. They're on the fucking radar. Okay.
No.
I understand why they snap there, but I feel like if you're shooting straight,
No.
in there, you're not looking at the radar, so how they know exactly where to snap.
He snapped at one of the guys that was down. I think there was actually 2 guys there once he strafed over, okay? He doesn't finish that clip anymore. Let's see. Okay, never mind.
When she engages. But if you look at the original footage, the enemy that appears on the minimap is spotted and on the minimap for at least 8 seconds before the clip even starts.
Okay, whatever. But yeah, let's see if he finishes that clip. There was like a couple of guys there, right? Not just, okay, back a bit. Sorry guys, we're going frame by this. There's a couple of guys here. One guy that was down and there's another guy there. Could be either of those 2 guys that he snapped to.
Heading to that position. Snapping to that direction was
so the guy he initially snapped to wasn't even on the minimap. That was a very bad, I think. It's either one of 2 things. Either Karl completely missed that point, he didn't analyze it closely enough, or he's being very bad faith right now. Like a little bit of critical thinking, right? Now to be fair, I don't think Tectone analyzed it that closely either. He might just be incidentally correct. So I wouldn't give him too much credit.
But if the enemy wasn't visible, why did Riley shoot? Well, it's because she was already shooting. The best clips are the ones where you don't stop shooting. You just switch from one target to the next and try to get as many kills as you can in a single magazine without stopping. It's basically spray and pray.
Does anyone even do that?
In this case, the rock is more than anything a red herring. It was already a flick to an enemy completely off screen, so the rock was inconsequential. Clip farmers do not.
No. He didn't. He doesn't finish that clip anymore. We'll come back to the 1704. Let's go back to an original clip where he sort of shows who was behind that corner entirely. This one, not this one. But yeah, at one point we saw all of the people behind that corner, right?
And when she peeks the corner, the enemies are all on the right.
Okay.
There's definitely a
yeah, there's a couple of guys here. He could be aiming at either one of them. Karl said he doesn't point out that there's a guy here that's just going down.
Found enemy in the direction Riley snapped to.
No. There's just it's not just one guy. There's another guy there. Hello? There are 2 guys. That guy is slightly higher in elevation. I wonder if that guy was standing, you know, if that guy was still standing, that the first initial snap behind the wall wouldn't be aiming directly at that guy.
To the left of the sea, but not only can we not determine.
Yeah, he only points out this guy, not that guy. I don't know. Maybe that's a teammate.
But the verticality appears to be way off.
Oh my god, so dumb. Let's go back here.
We also never see this type of instant snapping to enemies through walls in any other clips.
No, we did. We went frame by frame on 10IQ's one of 10IQ's clips, and I think one of these clips as well, where he was snapped to a guy that was falling over, whose body was already behind the wall.
And no one has been able to produce another example of this happening, despite Riley streaming many hours every day. I would posit that if this instant snapping to enemies through walls was a feature of you would see it happen at least one more time. I haven't seen an explanation as to why it only happens a single time in this entire montage.
Again, like, the thing here is that when you're aiming, I don't know, maybe it's just me, But I'm not the guy who can just draw completely straight line snapping from one target to another. There's a little bit of wobble, there's a little bit of a little bit of margin for error, but the way he does it is just really sus, right? Like they sort of, I think it's the aimbot trying to overshot it a little bit initially when they snap, just to make it seem less sus. But the way they do it is just, yeah, completely, I don't know, I feel like that's a completely straight line from one target to another. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
To why it only happens a single time in this entire montage or in any stream. Even the people who seem to be
like, it's very
interested in proving Riley cheated disagree.
It's very difficult to prove, but at the same time seems very likely
knowledgeable on aimbots,
that they are cheating.
Honest, a lot more knowledgeable than most people I see talking on this matter, claims that the snap to the rock was not cheating at all, and that the aimbot is only activated when Riley shoots and the target is within a certain field of view.
The aimbot didn't get a lock. Let me explain why this happened. The aimbot only works if the enemy is inside its field of view.
What?
Now, because the enemy was outside the FOV, it didn't lock on, even though he is firing his weapon. The snapping isn't the cheat. The aimbot only takes over once the weapon fires.
Okay. So they're still using a cheat. What is this argument?
In this clip, watch the first 5 bullets. They all miss completely, because the enemy is strafing left and the aimbot's field of view isn't on the target. That forces Riley to miss his shots.
This is still cheating one way or another. Why?
And that's when the aimbot's micro adjustment takes over.
Why are we making this argument then?
It doesn't get any more blatant than this. If you can't see aimbot by now, then you are deliberately lying to yourself.
In that last clip, he shows the aimbot supposedly working, but when I view the actual footage and examine the next enemies in the exact same clip, the aimbot seems to behave differently. Riley is shooting here, and the enemy is within the field of view, but the crosshair drifts off target, so either she is toggling the aimbot between enemies, or this analysis seems to be cherry-picked. Call of Shame has also said this particular clip is both not cheating and also obviously cheated. Here he shows the aimbot supposedly working in this clip, which is the first clip in Riley's montage, but previously he had said the exact same clip wasn't cheating, and was inserted into the montage to give defenders plausible deniability.
Breaking down the first part of this montage, you'll see he's snapping all over.
Okay, I haven't seen this video of Call of Shame before.
I mean, you'd think that, right? When you slow it down, you can see that this person is actually snapping past the targets and correcting their own bad aim. They're snapping to nothing. And no, that's not cheating. Cheaters often include clips like this in their montages so that absolute morons can try to break it down and say, see, he's not cheating.
Pointing out contradictions isn't proof that Riley isn't cheating, and Call of Shame could be correct that Riley is using a sophisticated aimbot of some kind. Apparently he is working on software to detect aimbots in Battlefield 6.
I don't know. I don't know enough about aimbots to say definitively, but a lot of this footage is sus. I think it's the mouse movement that you really need to pay attention to.
Agree on what cheat is being used or which parts of the clips are cheated, we obviously have issues. People also pointed out that after the rock flick, Riley's crosshair jumps extremely quickly, but again it has also been mixed in with misinformation.
And once they get this kill, it snaps again, right to that guy right there. You guys see that little snappage?
For example, many people claim this snap is locking onto an enemy, when it clearly jumps to nothing. I have seen technical explanations as to how this can happen, and apparently players can do it at will. If the snap went to an enemy, I think it would be a lot more dubious than it is. But given that it didn't, and the phenomenon is reproducible, I don't see how this is any proof of cheating.
No, that's actually really sus, right?
Given that it didn't, and the phenomenon is reproducible, I don't dubious.
Wait a minute.
To nothing. I have seen technical explanations as to how this can happen, and apparently players can do it at will. If the snap went to an enemy, I think it would be a lot more dubious than it is. But given that it didn't, and the phenomenon is reproducible, I
think that's just you know, the aimbot sort of losing, or rather giving up control back into the player. That's why it sort of default snaps into nowhere. You've seen that happen quite
how this is
a few
any proof
times
of
actually.
cheating. Another clip that was seen as proof of cheating was this clip in Battlefield 5, where Riley flicks to players who appear to be invisible due to smoke.
Yeah, this isn't a hack. Somehow Riley knew in that smoke that there was someone in it and they were laying down. You can't see it, but Riley's God-given transcendences that transcend being human. At this point, it's a huge LARP.
Oh my God.
Queer community. We're watching someone literally use cheats and hacks and go, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You're transphobe.
And when I viewed this clip on Twitter, it made no sense to me. The best excuse I had heard was that sometimes people get lucky, and I can understand why this would also cause a lot of people to think Riley is cheating. However, the real explanation is far more simple. When I view this clip on Twitter, I can't see an enemy here, but the Twitter version is terrible quality, entirely compressed. Luckily, Riley still has the original video in high quality and sent it to me. And when I view the original, the enemy is clearly visible. And when you see the enemy, you realize the flick wasn't even accurate, and it took multiple shots before Riley adjusted. So when viewing the actual footage, you see that not only
I feel like we've gotten off topic here.
The snap was completely off target. Both narratives surrounding this clip are simply untrue. In truth, the fact that so much of this debate has been happening on Twitter is probably causing...
Like, again, I think we've established that some cheating, aimbot cheating stuff sort of makes account for that variance. Like, I think we already know that.
Way more problems than other
So this could be either way. It could go either way again.
as necessary.
But you know, this is a different game, right?
Twitter doesn't even offer frame advance on its videos, and the video quality is always far worse than reality. So a lot of the time, it's very hard to tell what happened. I've seen so many comments from people saying that Riley perfectly snaps onto enemies.
It's crazy, bro, because some parts look insane, like this one. It's perfect.
But when I view the footage myself and slow it down, that's almost never the case. There is usually an initial flick that misses the target, and then there is a micro adjustment. This has been the standard...
Like, I feel like even Karl Jobst would know about this. He does, you know, I mean, freaking, he analyzes cheaters for a freaking living. That's his entire YouTube channel. But all of a sudden, like, I think even he would acknowledge that aimbot sort of account for that variance just to make it not look sus. We all already know that. Karl should know that as well, and would make sense for him to acknowledge that, but he doesn't.
Technique for switching targets for years.
Like, he's handling this guy with kid gloves.
Fast, explosive, snappy motion, usually performed with the forearm, that produces a straight line in the direction of the intended target. This rigid snap is followed immediately after by a microcorrection, a much more narrow and smoother adjustment to correct either the overflick or underflick distance away from the target. The microcorrection is followed by the target confirmation, a very brief, almost instantaneous check.
Like, I honestly went into this thinking that Karl wouldn't be as critical at all, but this is even more disappointing than I realized.
In response to the fact that Riley usually misses her initial flick, people will say that you can insert inaccuracy into aimbots to mask their impact. The channel link in Margison shows a great example of an entirely automated aimbot that appears almost identical to a human playing. So this is certainly possible.
Oh, there we go. He acknowledges
The
it.
argument is that Riley missing isn't evidence of not using an aimbot, because you can make an aimbot miss on purpose. Or at the very least, you can make it randomly target different parts of the enemy to vary its effect. Recently, the player Shimmy was exposed for using an aimbot because it consistently snapped to the same part of the enemy's body, and in his case the snap was very obvious, as was the inhuman tracking. In Riley's case, there doesn't appear to be any rhyme or rhythm to where the aimbot is targeting, and it often drifts off target completely. If it's true that aimbots are sophisticated enough...
Now, this is a complete contradiction to what he just said. He acknowledges that some aimbots can be, you know, programmed to just account for that variance, so...
vary their targets and insert this amount of unpredictability, I would love to see Riley's play replicated. Ultimately, while it could be possible that Riley is using an aimbot, the evidence presented so far hasn't been strong enough to convince me of anything. I would never say...
At that point, it just seems like Karl's own bias showing. No? He's acknowledged multiple times that it could be either for and against, but...
she isn't cheating, that...
Like, I think with that rock clip earlier that we've established, that the initial flick was directed center, like straight at least one of the two targets that are on the ground before he strafed over, and then after that first initial flick into the rock face, he did another micro flip that would have been directly over a second target that we saw after he strafed over to, you know, get a line of sight in. So that one just, I don't think that one is defensible. Like this one, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. That's the first initial flick. There's a guy there that's probably still standing that only went down, and the fact that he did another micro flick there to second target, there's probably indication that that guy went down at that moment, and then he flicked to the second target, which is right over there. Right? And like you said, there's a guy here that's down. No, there's a guy here that's down. That was the first guy he flicked to. That if that guy was standing, then the first flick would have been, you know, in his general direction.
Point in time.
No.
Riley has been streaming many hours each day and showing Task Manager upon request. So if she is using something, she is hiding it very well. But there is also a ton of circumstantial evidence being thrown around, like the fact that Riley was banned on Twitch for one day, which could be due to being mass reported. On the flip side, Riley hasn't been banned in-game, which could be used as evidence that she isn't cheating, especially given that according to their anti-cheat team,
like again, this doesn't say anything. It says that anti-cheat has stopped like 330 attempts, right? But the fact that it's that many, that means that only indicates that a lot of people are trying to cheat. Doesn't mean a few cheats might have slipped through. Like again, I will refer you guys back to the analysis by 10IQ Gaming. He goes over the fact that Riley seems to switch between accounts quite frequently, and in one account he seems to be having, you know, trouble with stability issues and getting past Battlefield 6, right? Being able to log in. Then as soon as he switches accounts, it's all good from there, right? No issues whatsoever. That's also sus. So Karl is doing a very good job of being good faith about this.
Riley has been banned in the past on Twitch, and the reason given by Twitch was due to cheating. This might be legitimate. Riley may have cheated in some way in some game in the past. Twitch doesn't provide any specific details, so it's
okay, but here we go. They already have a record, a history of doing so. And if your argument, Mr. Jobst, is that the footage that you've analyzed, you know, could be either one. Certainly you've acknowledged that certain aimbots can be programmed with some variants and some errors to account for that. Then it should be either 50-50. And I think the past record of cheating would sway that towards the cheating direction. But, well, I mean, I guess that's entirely up to you if you want to say, you know, by your judgment, if you want to say that you don't think that they're actually cheating, but that's just me.
Twitch is an authority on cheating, and if this ban affects your opinion on current events. I think the biggest determining factor on whether or not you think Riley is cheating will be based on whether or not you think this type of aim is possible. And personally, I can say that after...
No. No one is arguing that that type of aim is, you know, entirely impossible. Or maybe some do. But for me, from what I've seen, right, the massive difference in skill and ability between, again, I refer to this analysis by 10IQ Gaming, is that his skill level and aiming before aimbot seems completely different from after the aimbot, significantly so. And this, you know, this transition happened within a day, essentially, within a day, right? I don't think, I don't know. It's just very, very sus all around.
Looking into the AIM community over the past few months, Riley's clips aren't that insane for someone who specializes in AIM. And when you consider that these clips are just a 1-minute highlight reel of a stream that lasted hours and hours, it's not that shocking. Matty, the aimer who won Red Bull's Ready Check competition...
Like again, this is all going to make sense once you guys, you know, pay attention to like the deeper analysis of the clips before and after, and Riley's account activity. Like I'm more towards the side that he is definitely cheating in one form or another.
Who proved in a LAN event that his aim is far superior to esports pros, who is far and away the highest.
Like, again, this doesn't prove anything. Like this guy was like a Valorant player, like at a master level, right? So what? So what? I don't think. Like again,
ranked aimer in the world believes that these clips.
Like you're using one example of one guy that might be exceptional at this, but we have evidence that, you know, before and after the alleged aimbot, there is a massive skill and difference that I don't think it's reasonable to be attainable within a day of each other.
Aren't anything out of the ordinary.
So I don't know about you, Karl.
Of all time believes that
I think he's just missing the ball here. I think he's just, you know, I don't want to accuse Mr. Jobs of being bad faith in this analysis. I just think he's dropped the ball slightly.
This should give you pause. Of course, this is an appeal to authority and doesn't prove Riley isn't cheating. But it's an indication that things might not be as clear-cut as they seem. The AIM community is relatively young, having only really developed in the past few years, so it's understandable that most people don't know much about it. And if it's anything like the speedrunning community, I know from experience that when a niche community doing crazy things suddenly gets massive amounts of mainstream attention, there's going to be a lot of people who simply don't believe it. And that's not only reasonable and understandable, it's to be expected.
Like, I feel like that entire montage Karl just put in front of us there was all cheaters. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know the AIM community as well. The AIM community is very, very sus in itself, okay?
I won't say if Riley is cheating or not, I'll just say that I'm not convinced she is. What I do know with a high degree of certainty is that the loudest voices surrounding this drama seem to have massive gaps in their...
I think Karl is not analyzing this as deeply or as closely as he necessarily should. Either that, but I don't want to accuse him of being bad faith either. I'm just saying.
And I predict in a few years, as the AIM community becomes more widely understood, we might look back at these clips and realize they really aren't anything special.
My prediction is that in the future, maybe a few years from now, everyone is going to find out that almost all of this entire AIM community is using some cheat or some other.
At all.
That's my
Thank you
prediction.
So much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Well, I hope you have a fantastic day too, Mr. Job. You are kind of a legend in your own right. But still, I don't know what you guys think. Right? Definitely, I feel like a lot of the video evidence, the analysis points towards cheating. Not just in the aiming itself, but the account activities as well. That's something that is really covered in Karl's analysis entirely. He did go into a little bit of the history of the previous cheating allegations of Riley. That's fair, I'll give him that. But I think, you know, 10IQ Gaming does a better job of going deeper into it. So I definitely recommend his video. I will link the description, or rather the link to both of these videos in the comments section below. But what do you guys think? Is this Catboy cheating or is he not? I lean more towards yes, personally. But hey, if you wanna, you know, call me biased or whatever, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. That's entirely up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.